The Democratic convention is over, but can the party craft a winning strategy? Plus, the ongoing war in the Middle East and fears of an attack from Iran. The Point starts right now. For delegates to the Democratic convention, it's the key question: can they beat Donald Trump? Mayor Eric Adams joins me from Chicago, where I want to ask the most important question, I think, which is concerns that voters have about border security. And it's certainly also uppermost in the minds of New Yorkers as well. So my question to you is, what do you want to see happen with our plan to deal with the borders?
Well, I think voters are also concerned about the affordability of the country as well as public safety. That's what I hear on the ground over and over again. But specifically, when we talk about the border, it's about allowing people to work. I met with national immigrant leaders this morning, and we are really aligned with allowing people to pursue their American dream and the great contributions that immigrants have played to this country for generations, hundreds of years. And so we're looking forward to a very clear and specific pathway to having a country that's affordable, a country that is safe, and a country that allows people to continue the pursuit of their American dream.
But the Republicans would like to close the border totally. I wonder if you think that is the right path, or that's the path that will appeal to voters come November.
I believe you're seeing out of what I called for last year and for some time now, executive orders to really move the process in a more fluent manner. We're seeing some of these executive orders are having an impact. We were getting, Marcia, almost 4,000 migrants and asylum seekers a week. We're now down to less than 900. That says a lot, and we should continue to utilize the executive orders to give people the opportunity to work. We have thousands, hundreds of thousands of jobs in our country, and many of the individuals who are coming in are already professionals. I was speaking to my team. We had 90 doctors that are migrants and asylum seekers. As we're looking to fill some of these employments that we need to make sure it's not only about a conversation of securing the border, but what do we do with those who are here in our country now?
Mr. Mayor, a new CBS News poll shows that only about 8% of voters are actually persuadable. Everybody else has made up their minds already, and that those people are mostly younger voters and members of minority groups. How do the Democrats capitalize on that so that they can get the lion's share of those who are persuadable?
Well, look at who you say, minorities and younger Americans. It's about what the future looks like, and that's what we have to have a clear message of what the future looks like. Young people are worried about the ability to purchase a home. They're worried about the cities that they live in, are they safe places? And the minority groups are really concerned that is America going to be true to the promise that everyone would have an opportunity to reach their full potential. And we look at a president who has gone through a lot. You always say, for God's sake, she worked at McDonald's. She knows what it is to struggle, raised by a single mom. And I think her story is the story. And when you are a person who have gone through a lot, you could be here to help people who are going through a lot. And I think that's what the vice president offers.
You know, the main theme of the convention seems to be that Vice President Harris is the future and Donald Trump is the past. Is that a winning strategy? And do you think the Democrats have to respond to all the name-calling that seems to be coming out of the Republican camp?
No, I do not. I subscribe to Michelle Obama's theory: when they go low, we go high. I think nothing personifies that more than now. Americans are tired of the name calling. They're tired of showing a divided country. The extremes cannot run our country. Those who are from the far sides of both ends of the spectrum, they're not every day, I believe, in line with what Americans want. Americans want to raise healthy children and families in a safe city where they can reach their full potential. And we have an obligation of creating that pathway. And name calling is not going to get us there. Bringing us together will get us there. We're all in this together.
But isn't it tempting to respond to the daily attacks that he's been making, calling her a socialist and Comrade Kamala, all the name calling? I mean, how do you use that discipline to not do it?
There you go. You use the right term, D, that discipline. What I found in this business is that when people cannot beat you on substance, they want to distract you with name calling. And if you display the right discipline, stay focused, no distractions and grind, that's not only something that I say in New York, but it's something we're going to need to win this election. Because if you allow someone to pull you off your game, then you don't have a game plan. Stick to your game plan, show the discipline, tell the entire team we spent our time with our game plan. We're now in the huddle at this convention, and we're going to hit the line of scrimmage and move the ball down the field, and we're going to win this championship.
Mr. Mayor, you know Donald Trump. How do you think you beat him? What are his vulnerabilities?
Well, I think the key is Biden did it already. He has to do the same thing. The administration and the team must do the same thing they've done already. They produced for this country on so many levels, navigated us through the COVID crisis. They navigated us through the public safety issues. Homicides are going down across the entire country. They have to continue to do the right things and sell a product. I think Democrats have made a mistake in the past of not being proud to show their success. We support the police and we support police reform, but we need to lean into how much we support public safety and not allow someone to take that narrative away from us. That's the key focus, the bread and butter issues that everyday Americans are concerned about across our entire country. If you put that front and center, that is going to allow your narrative to shine through and not the narrative of others that are trying to pull you off it.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. In 2020, when Kamala Harris, was running, she defended the police protests after George Floyd, and she said that she also supported defunding the police. I'm sure you're going to hear that from Donald Trump. How does she combat that now and say that she now supports the police?
I believe that is her messaging that she's going to have to get clear to the American people, because when you look at it, the American people support public safety throughout the entire country. I think her concern was around police reform. I shared those reforms. I too marched for the cause after after the Floyd issue. So I joined that, and I think that's what she was saying as well. But it's important for her to lay out a very clear message of how public safety goes hand in hand with police reform. We could have safety and justice. She did it as a prosecutor. She was inspired to go into the occupation after a dear friend experienced a horrific act of violence towards her. And I think that's the story she must tell. She must tell her story and be authentic in the process in doing so, and it will resonate with everyday Americans.
But if she does that, how does President Trump, and President Trump goes after her for flip-flopping, how does she deal with that? Because a lot of people are going to listen to him say what she said in 2020 and think that she's the one that's flip-flopping, not him. How does she deal with it?
Well, I hear the term flip-flopping in every election, and I think many people can speak on behalf of myself, and I'm sure she will respond to those questions. But as you learn, you evolve, and anyone who remains stagnant in their observations will have to show that they're not willing to grow. And I don't believe she flip-flopped. I believe that her position has always been secured and strong around public safety, and she needs to point that out and not allow someone to point to one specific issue that you want to attempt to define as flip-flopping. She has been very clear on public safety. She's shown it as a prosecutor, and she has shown it as being compassionate, as we heard some of the stories that she has carried out through her time as a prosecutor. And I think she needs to be clear on her message.
Mr. Mayor, thank you so much.
And Americans will understand that.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Take care.
We're going to have to leave it right there for now, but we'll be right back to talk about the crisis in the Middle East. My next guest is Ophir Akunis, the Consul General of Israel in New York. So look, it's been almost 11 months since October 7th, since the attack. And still the war goes on, and still the hostages are still being held. What do you think it will take to end all of this?
First of all, thank you for having me again. Thank you so much.
Well, we love having you.
Thank you so much. We'll defeat Hamas. Israel will defeat Hamas. That's actually the main goal of the war, and we don't want it. We don't want the war. They invaded to Israel. They started the fire. We don't want the war, but they viciously. And of course, we are putting Hamas under pressure to release our hostages. You know that actually the Americans, the Egyptians, we, the Israelis, and the Qatarians, all of us, asked them to come to the negotiation table and to actually agree to a deal. They don't want to agree. By the way, they didn't come to the negotiation table, not in Cairo, not in Qatar, nowhere. So the problem is actually the existence of a terror, a cruel and vicious organization like the Hamas in Gaza Strip. And until we'll defeat them, and it's very close, Marcia, it's close. It's not close enough, but we are very close. We are much closer than, of course, from October and November 2023.
But I mean, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has been in Israel constantly trying to push for a deal, and he seems to think it's pretty close to ending it, that there could be a ceasefire. Are you as optimistic as he is, or you think there's still much more that has to be done?
Still much more, not because of us. They actually, the Hamas wants us to withdraw from the Gaza Strip and from Philadelphia. Why? Because they want to continue actually to attack Israel from Gaza Strip. We will not allow a second October 7th.
So we have to explain that Philadelphia is a strip that goes along in Gaza along Egypt.
That's right.
And you don't want to leave there because you're concerned about weapons coming in through the border through Egypt. Is that correct?
That's what happened from 2000, something like 2005, 2006. Actually, they smuggled Iranian weapon through Philadelphia from the Egyptian side to Rafah. Do you remember that all eyes on Rafah? So I'm saying all eyes on you, terrorists. And you saw the last tunnel? The last tunnel that actually we found out there, it's much bigger, or at least bigger as the Lincoln Tunnel here in New York. And their tunnels are longer than the tube in London. We can't accept it.
But let me ask you this question. Does it have to be Israeli troops along Philadelphia, or could it be an international force, or you just don't want to take the chance?
I will tell you, we are counting on our forces. It's a fact that Israel actually, it's a fact. It's not my imagination. We withdraw from Gaza Strip, including the Philadelphia, including the north parts of Gaza. And they used actually to attack Israel from those areas. So we must learn from the history. We must learn. And by the way, about international forces, you asked about them. Let's see who is, who wants to be part of the international force there. It's like UNIFIL in Lebanon.
Let me ask you this question. There are reports that Yahya Sinwar, who is the Hamas leader, is saying that Israel has to guarantee his safety, has to guarantee they won't kill him or assassinate him for there to be a ceasefire. How do you feel about that?
It's unbelievable. He is the worst enemy of the Jewish people since Adolf Hitler. He is responsible, Sinwar, to the vicious massacre against the Jewish people and the Israelis, of course, since the end of the Second World War. And he wants us to guarantee, by the way, we Israel, release him from our prison to actually right after the Gilad Shalit deal. You asked me about a new deal. We did it already with him. Now, let's compare it to Al-Qaeda leader Bin Laden. You killed him.
So basically, you think...
You, the Americans. And well, you did very good. The American government, heading by President Obama and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. That's good. That was very good, because it was a message to the axis of evil. Beware.
So basically, what you're saying is that somebody should kill Yahya Sinwar because he is the same as Yasser Arafat. But you're also saying that there's probably no way that Israel would agree to his terms to guarantee his safety as a prerequisite for a ceasefire.
The answer is no, and I will tell you why. Yahya Sinwar sent his vicious terrorists to rape women, to burn people alive, to burn babies alive. Okay, so we need to guarantee that he will continue actually to live and to be the Hamas leader. This is unacceptable, and we will not accept it.
So, you know, we were talking about leaving troops along Philadelphia. What about leaving troops along the other border so that you would also be able to protect your country from another attack? Okay. Is that also something that you think is a non-negotiable? You have to have troops there.
You know, you're talking about specifically about the Gaza Strip.
Right.
Okay, I always say that we will do whatever is necessary to defend our people. And if the Israeli Chief of Staff and the Minister of Defense and the Prime Minister and the Cabinet will decide that this is necessary, I believe that the majority of the Israeli citizens will support it.
But I asked you before about an international force, and you seem to have little hope that that would happen, because is there a reluctance on the part of other countries to participate in trying to keep the peace in that area?
I will tell you, first of all, it's very good that there is an international coalition against the Houthis in Yemen, and it's very good. I remember the international coalition against Saddam Hussein. That was very good. If the international force will can force the law and the order and actually stop them from smuggling weapons from Egypt to get to the Gaza Strip without our involvement, I don't know. I don't want to say something that is part of the ideas and the negotiations, and actually a part of the American suggestions during the negotiations.
But you don't think a number of countries would participate?
I want to hear. I want a proof. I want to hear who will be participate. Who? The Americans, the British, the Italians, the Greeks.
What about the Jordanians?
Well, the Jordanians, the Emirates. Let us, let them say that they will be part of the international force, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it right there for now, but our conversation continues right after the show on our streaming channel, CBS News New York. Thank you for joining me. When my dogs Mo and Curly died several years ago, I was devastated. But it started me wondering, should pet owners get bereavement leave? New Yorkers are weighing in on your point. Do you consider pets members of your family?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
My dog is like my child.
Well, they provide the same amount of joy that, I guess, kids would.
They love you just as you love them.
My wife's not going to like this, but no.
Why not?
Because it's not a human being.
I mean, you can't discount pets from being part of the family just because they're not human.
In a certain way, the family dynamic revolves around the pet. Feeding it, taking it out.
I used to have 2 dogs, and I loved the dog. We were so close.
Is there something special about a relationship with a pet as opposed to a human?
More trust.
More trust. Okay.
I won't say which, but
They can't blab about anything you tell them, so they're your little confidant.
In my opinion, I think it keeps us kind of in touch with nature.
If you come home and you're really tired, it just snuggles up to you.
I don't know. Kind of grew up with my pet as like a sibling, so I kind of thought of it as another sibling.
They're just happy. Like, they want to be happy, and they make you happy, and they're just like your little cuddle buddy, you know?
Is a relationship with a pet different than a human? A relationship
Yeah,
with
it's
him?
better.
It's better?
Better. It's definitely better, yeah. They don't talk back. You don't fight with them.
Yeah, it's still special, but you can't talk to them. They can't talk back.
my mom used that to her advantage, and that she would, you know, say things to the dog that she wouldn't say to me.
Talking back, that's the most important thing. You of all people know the importance of talking back.
Something about it being unspoken and everything being about actions instead of words.
Well, I feel like with a pet, it's unconditional.
When a human is a little bit more give and take.
When a pet dies, do you think you should get time off from work to grieve?
100%.
100%.
Yes.
Really? Why?
Paid time off. I think we need paid time off for everything.
I think it depends.
On what?
I mean, if it was a fish, I'd say it's a little different.
What's a reasonable amount of time to have off?
I think a week.
A couple of weeks?
I think like 2 days.
A couple days. How about that?
I don't know. You know, that's just like people. It's like there's no right answer, I think.
If anyone that works for me needs time off for a dying pet, they can take it.
I think you should be entitled to bereavement leave in a number of cases that we don't allow for in our modern society.
It's definitely not like bereavement situation, but you still need time to process your emotions.
Because if they're part of the family, then there is just as much sadness when they pass away.